So welcome to this first section. It's about commitment. And I mentioned briefly on the other ones how when we commit to something, we take action on it and we're all in. So all I'm inviting you to do is to commit to this protocol. And when you commit to it, you'll get a great result. Now, first of all, I'll show you how a lot of people I see are having anxious thoughts. Now, when you consider our anxiety, I don't even own it, that emotion of anxiety is predicting the future in a negative way. Have you ever had the thought that if I go to that party, I may look funny or whatever, or I'm anxious about going to the party, but when you get there, it's like, oh, it wasn't too bad actually. Or it could be like, you're going to fly on a plane and stuff like that. If you have a phobia, you may have a belief that you can't go on the plane and do that. When you think about it really, because I saw a client the other week and she said, I'm really anxious about flying. I said, well, how are you doing that? She says, well, I said, how are you worrying? She goes, well, I just had that picture. She looked up at the picture and she imagined herself almost like the plane doing something horrible in the sky. So when you consider what she's doing, no wonder we feel anxious. And then we forget we're thinking and we add more fuel onto the fire and suddenly it becomes like we catastrophize. And the day before, and we're in the queue, and we're trying to give that boarding pass over, and we're shaking, and the hand baggage goes in that thing. We look back and we imagine the worst case scenario. But actually, it's just thinking. And I'm going to show you how you can take back control of those things. There's a process throughout this section here that I'll show you how you can take back control so you can commit to your outcome. So you can commit to going on that plane, you can commit to doing public speaking, and you can commit to changes you want to make so you can feel confident. So throughout this program, I'm going to show you other little tips and tricks I've learned over the last 11 years seeing clients just like you. Now, when we think about fears and anxiety, there's a process I advise my clients to do, which is like even the one with the fear of flying. If you look around and ask yourself, how are you doing this? How are you worrying? And it sounds crazy. So how are you worrying? And they'll tell you exactly, I'm seeing an image, or I can, like a picture of the plane, it's doing something it's falling out of the sky, or it's okay when I get there, but then suddenly when it takes off, that makes me anxious, or it could be turbulence that makes me anxious. So there's an image running in their mind. Now the image they're seeing is almost like distorted, because, and I'll show you the process in a minute how you can take back control of that. So just with the fear of flying, ask yourself, how big is the image? Is it color? Is it black and white? And you can use it for most fears we have. And people don't realize that we do have these images in our mind. It's like an image. So would you consider that the fear of the flying though, is it a fear of the flying, or is it the fear of the image you're seeing in your mind? And usually it's people imagine themselves in that situation. They have an image and they can see it as if they're there. And some people say, I can't see myself in the image, because they're in the image, literally they're associated. Like, say for example, you're driving a car, you're in there. You can't see your face, but you just know you're in it because you're fully associated into it. So I say to my clients, okay, make the image smaller. If it's a big image, usually quite there if you think about it. And as you make it slightly smaller, pushing it away, just by pushing it over there, and then now notice what it's like as opposed to it's not in your face. And they go, well, there's no difference. Now put it back to how it was. Oh, it's horrible. So now as you move the image away, making it smaller, making it black and white now, because usually it's in color and 3D, imagine like a little dial. You can turn the dial down. As you turn the dial down and drain all the color out of the image. Notice how it makes you feel slightly better. And then I want you to imagine the image almost like going all the way in nature, out there on a blade of grass. Just imagine it on a blade of grass in nature. As it's over there, notice the subtle difference within your body. How's it going? And people say, oh, I don't know. But then, okay, get it back to how it was and notice what it's like, and it's not very nice. Or it might have just gone by just doing that. So as you put it out in nature, and it's drained the colour out of it, and the sounds out of it, and the feelings are drained out of it, how does it make you feel different? And notice by pushing it further away, it's no longer in your face. When things aren't there that close, they're not affecting you so much. That's one way of disrupting the pattern. There's a few others on the subsequent videos, but first of all, check in, how are you worrying? How are you doing it in your mind? You're not on the plane. As a client I mentioned before, I was anxious about the plane. I said, what's wrong with the plane? Has it got in view? Has it got fangs with hairy teeth and stuff like that? With hairy teeth? Hairy underbellies or something? It's not. So How are you doing it? Oh, I'm imagining myself doing so and so. Okay, are you imagining it or is it real? I'm imagining. As you imagine it, so what are you saying to yourself as you? Oh, I think this is going to happen. That's going to happen. So what if you just dumb down the sound? Because obviously she's listening to something. Turn the sound down. Make it funny. Make it like Minnie Mouse voices, rather than that doom and gloom. This is all we doom and gloom. If you turn the voice into something really hilarious, make it so hilarious that you wouldn't even believe it. Like even like the snake from Jungle Book. It's like, trust in me. You're gonna be really dangerous here. So the plane's gonna fall out of the sky. And as you hear it in that funny voice, yeah, notice how it's slightly different. And if you're worried about that, recognizing I'm worried about a thought. It's not the plane or even the idea of that. I can't think about that thing flying out of the sky. But think about it, because not thinking about it is avoiding the situation. When we avoid things, it can be even worse. But as you notice, right, is it really the thought that's making you anxious, or is it your mind that's doing it? And when you realize, oh, it's just me playing that thought over and over, and you can push that thought and move it slightly out over the way, turn the volume down or turn the music down, or put some funny music on it, notice how it changes the whole experience. Another quick technique is this. So imagine when you're hallucinating, really the anxiety or the feeling that's stopping you go to some place out there, a predestined time. Imagine the image like, it's usually a movie, it's got five little images in it, and I want you to disrupt it. So imagine a time in your life you felt confident and then Velcro in the middle. As it's in the middle of that thing, it's changed it slightly. Now the brain encodes things very fast. It's called neuroplasticity, which really means like the brain can change. We can actually change our minds literally by just focusing on things differently like this. So I want you to imagine, let's say, a troublesome movie, have the movie playing in front of you, and as you see those movies, it's probably about 5 or 6 images that are really affecting you as you really think about it now. And I want you to imagine the first image and notice what it's like now. If you Velcro, let's say, a good image of you feeling confident and put it at the beginning of the movie, and then imagine an image of you, everything goes safe in the middle, put that in the middle, and at the end of the movie, Velcro another image of you, everything's great, and as you got those images right now in your mind, notice what happens now as you attempt, I won't even say the word try, attempt to get the old feeling back you had. And you notice it changes. When we change the thing, that's how quick the mind can encode new information. So if you have that new belief now, well, I think I can change, that's all. What if it happens again? So what if it doesn't? So we can always do overthinking. So I'm going to show you on the next video a great technique, because when people are doing this thing called anxiety, their thinking is usually very negative. Put it this way, if I say to you, what is it you want? And can you answer that question honestly? What you want in 2 sentences, and state the same sentence as without saying, I don't want this. And I see people like this. Oh, I don't want this. I don't want to feel anxious. I don't want to feel worried. So ask yourself, what do you want? And people think, and just give me 2 sentences and then write it down. Just write it down what you actually want. And my client said, I want to be happy and I would be normal. Okay, so if you're happy and normal, what's that like? It's quite good. And if you're feeling happy and normal, what does that mean to you if you're happy and normal? Well, it means I can do this, I can do that. And as you allow your mind to expand slightly, because it's been stuck on one negative thought, notice what happens as you keep chunking that up. That's all it is. You're making it bigger and bigger. So you're chunking up the things. So if you're happy, what does that get for you? Well, I'm happy, I can feel calm. If I feel calm, I can travel. I can go anywhere I like without having that anxiety. Put that one to one side. You can always deal with that negative thing. I'm just showing you how you can expand your mind as you focus on what you want as opposed to all the stuff you don't want. And people don't realize that. If our mind can imagine something completely horrible, just imagine it going well. Just visualize, pretend, or even imagine the situation that you need to change in your mind. And as you close your eyes right now, a quick thought experiment, imagine that thing going so well. Do what you need to do inside your mind to change the experience. See yourself out there. I don't know, if it's on a plane, see yourself at the start of the journey and at the end of it, and you're feeling calm, you're feeling safe, and you're feeling quite comfortable. Whatever you need to do in your mind, change the experience. Our minds are really quite capable of changing something different. If you're imagining the worst case scenario, suddenly if you imagine something better, I wonder what will happen. Imagine committing to this now and changing any experience you have in your life that doesn't go well and putting a new movie out of it. That's your visual. Now, people think they can't imagine those things, but I'm saying the phrase visual as if you can imagine what your front door looks like, you know what that looks like. There's no image, but you can imagine vaguely what it looks like. It's the same thing with our imagination. And I want you to imagine it, imagine it going well. How much better do you think that would be? I'm only giving you a suggestion here, whereas in the past you've been giving yourself suggestions, you can't do this. What if you could? Commit to this idea. What if I couldn't fail? Do you really commit to that? If I could not fail, what could I achieve? If I could not fail here, what could I do? If I could see myself doing that thing I could not do without feeling anxious and get that anxiety over here, what could I now accomplish? Asking yourself great questions, not, oh my God, my anxiety's come back, or why am I anxious and why has it happened to me and I don't understand this. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. I wonder what would happen. But commit to this over the next few days, noticing as if you're like a little camera going around with you and noticing what your self-talk is like. If your self-talk is negative, what I suggest you do on the next video, there's another thing how we deal with the negative self-talk. Because negative self-talk is almost like it's not like someone rooting for you, like there's people, they go, in America, they root for you, don't they? Go on team. But there's the other one going, oh, you're losing, you're going to get anxious. It's a negative self-talk. I'm going to show you in the next video how we can accomplish that.